Hey guys, Christian here from the Calcio Bros. It's another recap video, an exciting weekend. A lot of stuff did happen. I'm joined today with my buddy Andreas, who's done the Calcio Mercato videos in the past with us. He's here via Skype, and we're going to just recap.
Hello everybody, and thanks for having me on, Christian.
No problem. So we're just here to discuss what happened this weekend and at least get someone else's thoughts and see what he thinks about what happened this weekend.
So we have Fiorentina Juventus, 2-0 for Juve. Especially Bernardeschi scoring the first goal in Florence must have pissed off a lot of people.
I don't know if you saw the picture, but when he was celebrating, there's a picture where you could see all the Fiorentina fans showing the finger to him. So they must have been really happy to see him score, you know?
I don't blame them, to be honest. And then Pipita ends it off in the 86th minute with the dagger.
He's been scoring. He's back on form now. He has, I believe, 4 goals in his last 3 games or something like that. He's back on his scoring touch.
They need him too because they have a tough game versus Spurs midweek in the Champions League, so they need all the firepower they can get.
And this also does put pressure on Napoli before they played their game, a big game against Lazio.
Performance from Juve showed us that they're resilient, as Fiorentina had double the shots, they had more possession, and Juve still ended up winning by 2 goals. So it shows that you don't always have to dominate the game. As long as you're clinical and take your chances.
One thing too, Fiorentina did have their chances. They did hit the post as well on a couple of occasions, and they actually had a penalty that was taken away. So with there was some I don't know if there was controversy. There's just a lot of stuff that went behind it. Basically, I don't know if there even should have been the foul on Alexandro, but I can't remember who it was, but they win the ball off Alexandro. But as he falls, he kicks it towards a Fiorentina player, who crosses it in, hits off Chiellini's hand, which was very debatable because it looked like his arm was really close to his body. So from the replay showing, I could hardly tell if it was a penalty or not.
Yeah, that was very harsh. It's not like he's the Flash. You can't really dodge the ball.
Yeah,
especially when you have your hand down like that, you can tell it's not intentional. But if he had his hand out, I would understand giving the penalty.
But it was
on top of that, it took them 3 minutes with VAR delaying the game to make the decision when it's clear as day.
And
how many refs do they even have there? Like one guy watching on the computer and the three officials. No?
Yes, yeah, and the fourth as well. The fourth on the touchline as well. Also, they did take it out, but they took it out because of an offside, and the offside was when Alexandro passed it back, but he passed it back, so it technically shouldn't have been an offside.
Because if he's basically keeping him on, because it's not like it's a Fiorentina player playing him in. So it's not like they're passing it to him in the offside position. So that was kind of a big controversy, and that's one of the downfalls of having VAR. It delays the game, and sometimes even when you have the chance to review you cause
even more controversy. Pretty much sums up what happened. Let us know if you guys agree on that penalty call as well. Next game we have here, which opens up Saturday morning. There's 3 games that day because of Europa League, and it opens up with Spal Milan. Basically a lower relegation battle team versus a team that's fighting for a Champions League spot to reclaim where they want to be, pretty much.
Ever since Gattuso's came in, they've been on a resurgence. They've been very, very good since he's come in. He started off a bit shaky, but then he's really the jet now.
He's really found his way, having the last 8 games undefeated, and only conceding 4 goals. That really tells you something.
Good. Sorry about that. It's good to show that he's showing faith in Cutrone too, as he's repaying it with another brace in the scheme.
This was actually his first brace ever in Serie A, so that was interesting for him. And then we also
how many goals in total does he have this season?
He has 12 goals in all competitions, and he's Milan's top scorer. Out of all the money they spent, their best player, their best forward, comes through their youth ranks. That just tells you something.
That's the sweetest thing, is having one of your own coming into the team and then producing. There's nothing better because he relates to the fans.
His goals, like that game, weren't the nicest. They're basically tap-ins, but still, he has an eye for goal. He knows where to be at the right time, knows how to make space, and he makes his chances count.
On the score sheet, though, it doesn't show Cutrone scored 2 tap-ins. It shows he scored 2 goals. And remember,
that's all you need.
One of the biggest Milan legends, that guy was the biggest tap-in. He scored most of the tap-ins, but the score happens, you have to know exactly where to be and have the movement to get there.
The other goals for Milan were scored by Lucas Biglia, who scores his first as a Rossonero after a mistake by Meret and the Spal defense. He just basically took it off him and scored. And then Fabio Borini, who scores his first goal in Serie A for Milan, makes it with actually a wondrous strike after a great through ball from Montolivo. Good finish, far post. I'm actually surprised. You don't see Borini score golazos anywhere, you know?
It's good for Biglia as well, as he's not really had the greatest start in his Milan career, so maybe this goal can help him gain some more confidence and kick on. You can even tell Milan completely dominated this game, 21 shots to 8. Spal had 0 on target to Milan's 9. So Milan had more shots on target than Spal had in the whole game.
And a good thing too with Milan is that they managed to close off the game, because usually they let the team attack. You could see that late on, in the first half, but Milan quickly, second half, they need to get the job done. That's what they did, and that's what Milan need to do. So now, guys, we had the midday game, Crotone-Atalanta, basically two teams once again on each side of the table. This was a very interesting one, and considering it was almost cancelled because of the heavy rain in Crotone, you can see even the pitch was very waterlogged, so I'm even surprised they played. Game ended up finishing in a 1-1 draw. Mandragora at the 80th, but Palomino late on secures the vital point for Atalanta, and they maintain on track just behind Milan. So this was even a delay for Atalanta because they couldn't get the result they needed, because they could have kept on track with Milan, keep held, but it is also a valuable point for Crotone at the same time. They would have liked the win, but a point's still valuable in the end, right?
Of course, especially when they're scrapping for their lives. And at the end of the season, these draws are going to add up. But for Atalanta, this is 2 points dropped, in my opinion, for them, as they're chasing Europa League spots. And when you have all these teams fighting for the how many spots does Italy have? 2?
They have 4 for Champions League, 2 confirmed for Europa League, and then the third would be like a qualifying.
Especially Atalanta has a very tough game coming up. Where do they play? Dortmund.
They are playing Dortmund.
So they're having struggles with Crotone. They'll have a wide awakening playing Dortmund. The stats in this game were 13 shots, 4 on target for Atalanta with 63 possession. Crotone had 9 shots with 4 on target with 37 possession.
Alright, guys, we move on to the big game of the weekend on the Saturday, which was Napoli-Lazio. So before we
Definitely the shock of the weekend. I thought this would be way closer than the scoreline suggested.
So before we go on and talk about the game, I did a poll on Twitter to see what you guys think. 58% of you guys said Napoli would take the win. 25% of you guys said Lazio, and then 17% in a draw. But as the majority said, Napoli would win, and that's the case that happened. Napoli won 4-1, a big comeback victory for them.
They scored 4 unanswered goals as well. As the Bry scored the early header 3 minutes in,
and then Calcio.
And then Napoli just went ham right before half. Calcio, that ball by Jorginho was brilliant.
He's one that just orchestrates that Napoli mid. Sarri really knows how to use Jorginho, and he just knows how to really orchestrate the front three between Mertens, Insigne, and
Jorginho's like the conductor of the band. Without Jorginho spraying the balls left and right, you don't have Callejon, Mertens, Insigne, all of these guys, because he sends them into the proper positions, and then they just work their magic.
It's a very different team if he's not playing, that's for sure.
And then for Lazio, there was another midfielder, one of the star midfielders of Serie A this year, Milinkovic-Savic, who in my opinion is the white Paul Pogba. This guy can do everything. For being 6'4", having the skill that he has a shot on him, he has this technique, he can win the balls in the air, spray passes left and right. Him and Jorginho, I feel, they might be able to make big moves this summer.
But too, it also depends how loyal they want to stay as well. But we'll see.
More so Milinkovic-Savic, depending on Lazio. But I heard Lazio won $100 million, so that might be a stumbling block.
So in the second half, that's where it'll change, because Wallace conceded an own goal, and then 2 minutes later, Mario Rui, I can't even say his name, takes a shot from distance, deflects off Zielinski, and goes in, which throws Strykoszka right out. It completely fools him. Sometimes some people gave it the goal to Mario Rui because they're saying it's not enough of deflection from Zielinski, but it fully changed the direction. So I believe it's Zielinski's goal. Mertens adds a fourth, and like I said before, the one goal a few games ago against Atalanta helped his confidence back up again, and he's managing to score almost every single game now. And
that fourth goal as well was a brilliant team goal by Napoli. It was a very, very nice team goal.
And that's the thing, they just know how to play great football.
What is it called? Saudi ball?
Probably. Something like that. Something Saudi, you know? Super Mario.
Stats heavily favor Napoli in this game as well. 17 shots to Lazio's 5. 7 shots on target to Lazio's 1, which is really generous as Lazio scored on their 1 shot on target. And they also dominated possession, 69-31.
Wow.
So they heavily deserved this win, and they easily reclaimed their spot on the top of Serie A. Nobody likes to watch these. Sassuolo 0, Cagliari 0. For Sassuolo to have 15 shots on target and only 15 shots and have 1 on target shows that they're getting really frustrated and trying to shoot from anywhere to get something to happen.
It is. Sorry, go on.
They're already really frustrated though.
So this is also, in my opinion, it's a good point for both teams, but it's also a bad result for both teams because none of these guys could get the full 3 points because they're both near. Cagliari's way higher than Sassuolo, but again, these 3 points matter for these teams because it just pulls them farther away. They shared a point each. Sassuolo, who used to be the dark horse for almost every Serie A team, is struggling this year.
I guess that's what happens when your team gets raided. And who did they lose? Pellegrini, they lost to Roma. They're going to lose Berardi again. Politano's wanted by everybody.
They've lost almost everyone. It's just unbelievable. Like you said, they've just been raided. They've let go some of the best players and not been able to really replenish properly. And Berardi, who in one season scored 15 goals, now has 14 goals in the span of 2 years. So that's
to be fair to the kid, he's had some injury problems. If Sassuolo don't smarten up, they can get sucked back into the relegation race. They're only 6 points ahead of Spal.
So it's getting close, guys, and this is where teams really need to pick up those 3 points as well. We move on to our 9 a.m. games, and there was plenty there. We'll talk about Torino Udinese first, which finished in a 2-0 victory for La Granata. Goals in the first half by Nakulu, and then second half, Il Gallo Belotti finally gets a goal. Good to see him scoring again, right in time for the derby as well next weekend. But before we even go on, let's talk about Udinese because they had a goal disallowed in the first half right before Torino scored because of a supposed offside, which there completely wasn't. So again, VAR making another mistake. So I don't know what to say about that.
And that also impacts it because what was it, 1-0 Udinese at that point?
That's
a whole different game because then Torino has to open up. Udinese can sit back, and under Otto, they've been very good this year. He's done a very good job with this team. But it's good to see Gallo Belotti scoring.
Next game, guys, Sampdoria Verona. This was an important win for Sampdoria, especially knowing that Milan won the day before. They wanted to, stay in front of them. They came clutch with this. Edgar Barreto scores right after the break. And the 35-year-old Fabio Quagliarella scoring on a penalty late on. This man is 35 years old, has the record for his most goals ever in his own career at 15. He just won't stop scoring. It's unbelievable.
What's that saying? Like fine wine, the older you get, the better you become. And Quagliarella is living that quote right now. Even though most of them are penalties, to have 15 goals at 35 years of age, very impressive.
And there's not many players who can do that. There's only the odd few, but he is really showing it. He has been a prolific goal scorer, but he hasn't scored this many, which is great for him.
Samper really impressing me. They lost Sheik, they lost Skriniar this year, and for them to still be fighting up at the top of the table for Europe is very impressive. This game, it was straightforward. Sampdoria dominated from first minute to last. 22 shots to 7, 10 shots on target to 1, 64 possession to 36. So really, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Verona didn't have a prey, as Sampdoria was playing brilliantly.
And points lost for Verona. They're sitting in the bottom 3. They get nothing out of it, so that doesn't help them try to avoid relegation after getting promoted. This next game, guys, another 9 a.m. game. A battle for, again, teams from the lower end between Chievo and Genoa. Both teams were really looking like they're going to finish 0-0, but Diego Laxao coming clutch right at the end like he did against Lazio, scores the winner for Genoa and gets a result for them, giving them 3 points. Chievo is struggling. Do you think they will move closer to the bottom three, or do you think Chievo will find a way to stay safe?
They're lucky that teams like Spal, Benevento, and Verona are even worse than them at this moment, so they're getting lucky. They need to start picking it up, as they're not called the Flying Donkeys at the moment. And Laxalt, you can tell he was talented because he was at Inter Milan at one point. So hopefully this kid can maybe continue in this form, as he was the hero for his team this week.
It's not like he played too much at Inter anyways, but he is really showing the talent that he has being at Genoa, and he's really being able to be his own player there.
Sometimes it's better to be a big fish in a small pond than a big fish in a freaking ocean.
And this is also important too, because Genoa picked up another clean sheet, Pedin picking it up after his injury, so it's good to see him that he's playing well and being able to get self-confidence booster as well after all the previous injuries he's had.
And that's now a 10-point gap between them and 18th, which is very good, as they can start getting a bit more breathers as they start to get away from the relegation zone.
Last 9 a.m. guys, and this was a big one because Inter managed to finally win after 10 games, 2 bloody months. So I don't know what the hell is going on, what they did.
This is their first win of 2018, no?
First win of 2018. So you can see, again, 2 months. They haven't won since mid-December. This is incredible.
In this game, Inter may have found one of their big gems, as Spalletti finally given Jan Caramo the freedom to start over Candreva, and he repaid him by getting the assist for Eder for the goal in the second minute, and an absolute thunderbolt of a goal for the match winner.
And considering, he was benching Candreva because Candreva hasn't had that great of a season, but somehow he has 8 assists. I don't get how, but
Icardi.
Yeah.
They need to cross it to Icardi, and he's that guy that'll bury it. So to win without Icardi is another big achievement.
He'll base
them throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. He'll basically get a goal like Candreva. He'll get an assist for every 40 crosses a game that he puts in. You know. So
I was excited when he went to Inter. As at Lazio, he was he was a baller at Lazio. He would score goals from anywhere, create beautiful assists. But it just seems like at Inter, it's like what I said before. He's like another player in a big ocean. He's not the big dog in the small pond. And for Inter, of course, who scores against them? Mr. Rat Tail himself, Rodrigo Palacio.
He put Inter's worries again, because another goal conceded. They think they could have, Bologna had so many chances to score too, but, Handanovic coming clutch, so as well as the defense. They even replaced Miranda at half because he's the one that led to the error for the goal with Lisandro Lopez. So that did help them in that sense to tighten up a little bit and not risk another defeat or points lost.
For Inter, it's also it's a good win, but considering they're playing against not 9 men as they got the red card near the end, but 10 men Bologna, they maybe should have won by more, but at the end of the day, it's the 3 points that matter. And
Mabai got his second yellow after a stupid challenge again. Sometimes I wonder, when you have a yellow card already, why are you doing stupid challenges in the first place? You got to be a little more careful. And then Messina's red card right in the dying stages of the match. The referee had to use VAR because the foul happened right in front of him, but Lisandro Lopez was still down, so the ref went to go check it with VAR, and he saw that he stepped on him with his cleats, could have broken Lisandro Lopez's leg, and that was a deserved red card. Not deserved, but it was a red card. Indeed, a terrible foul, and that's
you can tell the intent was to hurt, not to win the ball, so that's why it was an automatic red. Mm-hmm. There's no room for that in the game.
Exactly.
We know it's a contact sport, but
only
doing cheap shots like that is unacceptable in my books. For Inter, they had 15 shots to Bologna's 8. 5 shots on target to Bologna's 4, and they had 53% of the possession compared to 47. So a good win for them, and hopefully they can kickstart some form. As in their drought, they've had teams come up and close the gap on them.
Mm-hmm. And that's speaking towards even the next game as well, which is Roma-Benevento. Roma picked up their first win last week after some rough patch as well. And against Benevento, it was actually a bit of a shock because Benevento scored early with Guilherme, and then Faucio tying it at the half. But then second half, Roma just basically ripped them to shreds and just managed to pull away the victory. Dzeko, who has been goalless, I guess, on such a drought because his mind was somewhere else, maybe
after
to
those
London,
transfer rumors to Chelsea, you could tell like he couldn't really focus on his football.
So he finally gets
Cengiz Ünder, this guy who has 3 goals in 2 games now.
3 goals and an assist in 2 games. So he's playing some great football as well. And he's a great youngster that Roma did pick up. And as long as he keeps getting playing time from Di Francesco, he can really turn into someone else. But it also depends if they can hold on to him, because as we know, Roma are a supermarket. If you guys agree with that, also comment below.
Debrel also got in on the action, scoring a penalty in the 90th minute.
Later on, penalty. And it was, at least to put that bet away, because at the time it was 4-2, as Brignola had scored a little bit early on. Put another scare, because you don't know. Because Benevento can be tricky. They have played bad, they've played good, but sometimes they can really, show up and actually surprise someone.
Especially after Ünder scored 75th, and right after the kickoff they come back and score. So it's like the momentum could have switched. So that was basically the dagger. But the stats show Roma clearly deserved this win.
Another loss, so we may not see them in Serie A much longer. Who knows? I would like to see the Strikers still stay up, but it's up to them if they can play good and get the points.
They're only 9 points off Verona and 10 off Spal.
And considering they haven't gotten an away point at all, they've lost every away game so far, so that's even the trouble. If they can sneak away with a win away from home, then that would be crucial for them in staying up. But right now it doesn't seem so at all. So guys, with the standings after these games, here is the top half of the table. Roma actually move ahead of their city rivals after Lazio lost their 3rd game in a row. That could cost them in the end as well. So Roma is picking it up now too. They are now also a point behind Inter. Inter managed to get the win to stay atop of Roma. Milan stays 7th, while Udinese drop after their loss against Torino. And as we see, the usual 2 people up front, Napoli and Juve. As we know, the Scudetto will just be decided between those 2 guys.
They're pulling far away. 62 points, 63. The closest is Inter with 48. Look at the form table. Both of them have 5 wins in a row. So it's like they're just waiting for one of each other to slip up. But
that's the thing, because if we know Napoli slip up, I don't feel there's a way to recover. Knowing the way Juve has been playing, they may not have the best games played, but they still get the win. And that's always what Juve does. They manage to get the win, and that's what makes them champions. That's the thing Napoli need to be, is consistent and continue getting results.
The one thing I have with Napoli is that I don't feel their depth is as strong as Juve, so they need to pray that they have a clean bill of health with Mertens, Insigne, Calcio.
So now we'll move on to the bottom half. So some teams changing and some teams staying where they are. As we saw, Crotone is just hanging above the bottom 3 by 4 points. Genoa, like you said earlier, moves ahead. They go 4 points behind Fiorentina and 10 points ahead of Spal. So they're trying to keep their way out of there. Chievo's moved down. Sassuolo, Cagliari. It's such a dangerous zone. And if anyone picks up points there, anything changes.
Fiorentina is one team that's been very disappointing this season. I thought getting Giovanni Simeone would have helped them fight for Europe, but they're fighting more. They're looking more towards relegation in Europe.
But they had another rebuild like Milan too, right? They almost got rid of their whole team, but they're consistently inconsistent. They'll lose one game. They'll play one game beautiful football, then they'll lose the next 3 games like when they're playing like crap. So
especially with one win in their last 5, 1 in a draw and 3 losses. You're going to get nowhere near top 6 with that.
So guys, before we conclude round 24, we go on to our player and goal of the weekend. Do you have any goals of the weekend in mind? Who's your opinion on that?
My goal of the weekend it's probably from the Napoli game. It's either the Calcio goal after that brilliant Jorginho pass, or Mertens' goal, just for the nice team play. And for me, player of the weekend, there was probably Jan Caramo for me, as he got his first start in the league, got a goal and an assist, led Inter to the victory.
So that's his. Those are his.
Actually, that's goal of the weekend.
So you want to take that over your Napoli goals?
Yes, Jan Caramo's thunderbolt is goal of the weekend. And he's also my player of the weekend, hitting a goal and an assist.
So
What do you think?
I say my goal of the weekend will go to Karamo. He did score a wondrous left-footed play just to give Inter the victory. But for me, player of the weekend, for me it's tough because I'm going to go with two teenagers between Under and Cutrone, both getting their first braces in Serie A and helping their team to victory. That's just for me because, like, you know, they're really showing who they are. Cutrone being on form, Under getting the goals in after not being played enough by Di Francesco. So he's repaying the faith. Guys, if you have anyone else, if you agree with our choices for goal of the weekend, or you have different choices for player of the weekend, let us know. We go on to now for round 25, the games going in. There are once again 3 games on Saturday. Udinese Roma at 9, Chievo Cagliari at 12, and Genoa Inter at 2:45. I would say the most interesting game there is Udinese Roma. Roma, after 2 wins, they want to keep going, while Udinese have been struggling right now. They want to get a win, you know. Aldo has been playing great football, and he wants to continue that against Roma. How do you think the game will turn out?
For me, who's home? Udinese?
Udinese is home.
They seem like a very solid defensive team, so there will be a tough game for Roma, but I think Roma will come out on top. I like Udinese's team. They have Yankto, very good player. What is that guy's name? It starts with a B. Barak.
He's
had a very good season.
They have Fofana, Lasagna. They have some key players who have been instrumental with Aldo this year, which is incredible.
Then Chievo Cagliari is a game of the bottom half.
So we'll see who gets 3 points out of that, or are they going to share points again?
If Chievo wins, they can go level with Cagliari, and if Cagliari wins, they can put themselves more breathing space from the bottom 3. And then I see Inter continuing their win streak to 2 games here against Genoa.
Who knows, because Genoa can surprise a few as well, right?
They've been on pretty good form with 3 wins out of their last 5, but I just feel now Inter finally got the taste of victory.
And they have the confidence to go about it, right?
And then Sunday kicks us off with the Turin Derby. Big game. Probably the biggest game of the weekend.
Torino-Juve. It's going to be a good one. And I don't remember honestly, I don't even remember the last time Torino even won a derby. Juve just run rampant through them. This will be an important game too for Juve to get the points again to try to get in front of Napoli. But Torino, I feel, can maybe sneak something away if they manage to play their game, play tight deep, and don't allow for Juve to really create a lot, you know?
They're going to need Barreca running up and down the left flank. They're going to need Belotti putting in a shift, continuing a scoring streak. And also they're going to need Baselli continuing to run the show in midfield. Mm-hmm.
But it will be tough considering Juve have only let in 1 goal in the last 16 games. So their defense is pretty rock solid between both Szczesny and Buffon. So the only thing there is Torino will probably struggle to score.
They're still called the BBC as Benatti has replaced Bonucci.
9 a.m. games, guys. There's only 3 of them, as there are more games later on in the weekend. We have Benevento Crotone, Bologna Sassuolo, Napoli Spal. So Benevento Crotone, lower table battle there, as Benevento may have the chance to beat Crotone, but Crotone in better form, and they could probably get the victory there. Well, even Bologna Sassuolo, another lower table battle. Both teams are just playing like crap right now, they're not playing great. They need points. We'll see who gets the points out of these two.
Especially with Spal playing Napoli, which they're probably going to eat 3-4 goals at the Sao Paulo. This is a great chance to either make up ground to Spal or to give them more breathing room.
Mm-hmm. And then
it also makes Juve's game even more important. It's Napoli it's never guaranteed 3 points, but I doubt Spal is going to go to the Sao Paulo and win.
Yeah, or even I doubt they'll even get a point. But again, anything is possible in the game of football. We had a 12 o'clock game, guys. That is Atalanta-Fiorentina. This will be, I would say, a great, entertaining game. Hopefully, we always say that, but a lot of times games can be boring. But we're hoping, because Atalanta and Fiorentina are 2 teams looking to get points. Again, Atalanta want to try to get that Europa League spot, while Fiorentina want to rebound their season, considering how inconsistent they have been, and they want to move up into the top 10 of the standings. So again, keep an eye out for that game.
Milan-Sampdoria is another huge game, actually.
Mm-hmm. This is Milan-Sampdoria is going to be a crucial one, considering if Milan win, they go tied points with Sampdoria. And
if Sampdoria wins, then Milan's in big trouble as they'll go almost
6 points. They'll go 6. Yeah, I know. So it'll be tough. And the thing is now Milan are missing Kessie because he picked up suspensions. So he won't be running the midfield, which could give someone else a shot.
Especially with also Lazio playing Verona, that's probably another guaranteed win. They're playing at the Olimpico. Mm-hmm. So for Milan and Sampdoria, if they want to keep pace with Lazio, Inter, and the rest of the teams, then that game is a huge, huge game.
Alright guys, so let us know who you guys have for goal of the weekend, player of the weekend, and what game you're looking forward to next week. And don't forget, there is Champions League and Europa League this week, so stay tuned for those games as well. You can follow us on Twitter at Calcio_Bros. Subscribe on YouTube for more Calcio content. Thank you, Andreas, for taking part in this recap and preview video. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I hope to be on soon.
So we'll hear from you guys soon. Ciao.
Take care, guys.